Imagine this.
It's 6 a.m. and you've just gotten on the bus to go to work. Originally, you only worked a janitor job on the weekends, but with the rise of tuition, you now also have a full-time job in the warehouse. When you finally get home, it's night, and you somehow need to find a way to build an art career. Girl boss your way to the top when all you feel like doing is sleeping. This is how I started the first 6 months of my art career. Now, this isn't a unique or fancy situation. It wasn't even a particularly long time in comparison to most people, but it is the only time I had to work this much while also pursuing a career in art. And if you do want to pursue a career in art, there is a 99.9% chance that you're going to have to start it out with a full-time job. And in addition to this full-time job, you're going to have other responsibilities like your family, college, or maybe even a second job on top of your full-time one. And honestly, it's probably going to be one of the most suck parts of your art career. And so from this point on, you just need to be so kind and gentle with yourself. You just need to realize that you're not going to be able to produce the same amount of content that a full-time artist is going to make. Someone like Sam Gang produces like a piece in 2 hours, and he can pump out content like on the daily if he really wanted to. But art is his full-time job. He has the time to sit down and to do that. He has the experience to sit down and do that. There's a lot of skill there. When we're starting out, maybe we're not like as high on the skill level, and we have zero resource, right? We have zero time resource. So when we're trying to produce the same amount of content and make the same amount of posting schedule, it's not going to work. I 100% did not post as much when I was doing that 6-month period. I think maybe I made one drawing a month and uploaded that onto Instagram, and that was all I could do. That was the limit of what I could make in that amount of time. And it was the same thing for my YouTube channel. I wanted to make content on art, and I could not make daily content about my art. You know what I mean? Like, some people are able to upload weekly, daily. I was able to upload a few videos that year. And none of them were good, and they're not supposed to be. This is the ugly phase. This is the phase where you're learning things. This is the phase where you're trying to figure out what you want your career to look like, experimenting with different things, and then learning the skills of those things. It is 100% supposed to be hard, supposed to be ugly, which kind of brings me to a different thought of remembering that art is enjoyable for you. You started this for a reason. It is your passion for a reason. It is something that you enjoy doing. So we really need to make sure that right now our art is accessible and really enjoyable. And you're going to want as few barriers as possible between you and making art. So something that I really like to do is I like to keep my phone on me. My phone has a little stylus, so where I'm out on the go, I can draw little cute doodles of like dogs and whatnot, and that keeps me creative and warmed up and on the go. Maybe for you that looks like keeping a sketchbook with you or having your art supplies on your kitchen table when you get home so you're enticed to do it. The hardest part about being able to consistently make art while you're also busy doing something else is that you get home, you just worked all day, and if you look at your artwork as just work, you're not going to want to touch it at all. It's just that starting phase of thinking, I've been running around all day and now I have to go build up my art career. Don't let that become a chore for you, because right now this needs to be almost your salvation in the day. This is how I relax. This is how I enjoy myself. This is my hope for a better future for myself. And once again, I'm not saying you have to draw every single day. If you can, that's great. You know what I mean? But if you can't, it's understandable. And even if you don't draw every day, try to keep yourself somewhat accountable, like gently, but try to keep yourself accountable so you know you've drawn something in the past while, because it's easier to go days, weeks, or months without drawing art when you're busy, when you have a full-time job, when you're doing things, and just kind of let your art career completely like slip out your fingers. Maybe even shorten your scope on the artwork that you make so that it's more easy and manageable to do. I think a really good success story here is of Mimimoo Illustrations. When she started her art career, she was a part-time graphic designer, and when she'd come home for at least, I think, an hour or so a day, she would open up a sketchbook, pen and pencil, and she would draw something and upload it every single day, whether she liked it, whether it was good, and she ended up uploading like hundreds of these until she finally started getting commissions and made enough money to go full-time. Also, if you're trying to start any kind of art career, especially if it's an illustration, she is a really good person to follow. Like, the information is top tier, golden. But when we use her as an example, we can see that restriction can be a really good tool as well. Maybe using simpler brushes, simpler style, setting time limits using prompt lists, really taking away some of the choice and some of the mental work so that you don't have to figure it all out. The last thing I'm really going to go over is that you need to be patient. You're trying to make an art career that you can live off of for the rest of your life. And a lot of the artists that you think are overnight successes have been working at this for years behind the scenes and just popped off recently. It will not take hours, it will not take days, it will not even take months. It's probably going to take you a few years before you can make a full sustainable income. So I would say not to even really focus on the time and more so focus on the skills it takes to get better. Because I've really found the thought of why am I not successful yet is really damaging to me. It just makes me sad. It makes me less productive. Focusing on attainable goals, like I want to draw 15 pictures this year, is much, much easier to obtain because it's something that I personally can control. For my own personal mini success story, I've had this YouTube channel for 9 years. And I am still not a super hyper successful type person. And while an old version of me might have looked at this and been super depressed about it, I think a modern me is able to look at the work that went into it, the skills I had to build, and just the skills I had to build, right? So I had to learn how to talk on camera because at first I sounded like a very, very scared person with a gun at my head. So I wanted to share with you my stock of references, where I get them from. I had to learn how to work with audio, how to edit videos, how to improve my personal art skills so it wasn't so jank. And not to mention, age takes a part in it. When I started, trying to share my art online, I was 12 years old. Not only did I have to grow as an artist, but I had to grow as an individualized person and mature and build up self-discipline and fix my mentality and do all of the art stuff that's not related to art at all. Really, it's unrelated, but there is a million reasons why you may not be getting the attention or the money or whatever you want that comes with an art career yet. You have a lot of skill to get through, you need a little bit of luck, and just a heck of a lot of time. Much more time than you ever think you would need. Starting an art career while working full-time is always going to be hard, but doable. There's a lot of success stories out there. I beg of you to go look at most art channels that exist, and they will at some point, if you look at their older videos, will be full-time in school or full-time at work, and then you'll see that transition, and it's really inspiring. 2000% you can do this. 2000% you can do this. Really, truly, you just need some faith. And that's the end of this video. I have been working on it for a month. I was trying to go up to 2 weekly uploads, not 1 upload a month. This was a little silly. I'm doing something easy next week. Love you. Bye.